Listen carefully. You've been told your entire life that freedom comes from having more options, more choices, more opportunities, more flexibility. But if that were true, why are you so mentally exhausted? Why do you feel stuck, scattered, and overwhelmed, despite having more access, more tools, and more possibilities than any generation before you? Here's the truth no one is telling you. Too many options don't create freedom. They create paralysis. Every single choice you make throughout your day is costing you something. Not money, energy, mental energy. From the moment you wake up, your brain is already making decisions. What to wear, what to eat, what to check, what to respond to. And by the time you reach midday, you're not physically tired, you're cognitively depleted. This is what psychologists call decision fatigue. And in today's world, especially in 2026, where everything is optimized for stimulation, your brain is being overloaded before you even begin meaningful work. So what happens? You procrastinate, you overthink, you delay important decisions, not because you're lazy, but because your brain is overwhelmed. Now here's the counterintuitive truth. The people who seem the most free are often the most restricted, not by force, but by design. They don't wake up asking, what should I do today? They already decided that months ago. They don't waste energy negotiating with themselves every morning. They've eliminated the negotiation. This is what we call chosen constraints. Not limitations imposed on you, but boundaries you intentionally designed to protect your life. And this is where everything shifts. Because when you remove unnecessary choices, you create space for clarity. Think about this. If every day you had to reinvent your routine, your brain would never rest. But when certain things become automatic, your mind becomes available for higher level thinking. This is why some of the most productive people in the world wear the same type of clothes daily. It's not about fashion, it's about conservation. They are protecting their mental bandwidth. Because your brain has a limited supply of cognitive fuel, and every small decision drains it. Now imagine this. What if you removed 70% of the unnecessary decisions in your life? What if your mornings were already structured? What if your priorities were already defined? What if your boundaries were already clear? You wouldn't feel restricted, you would feel relieved, because clarity reduces anxiety and structure creates freedom. But here's where most people struggle. They confuse discipline with punishment. They think boundaries mean losing freedom. But in reality, boundaries are what protect your freedom. Without them, your time gets consumed by other people's demands. Your energy gets pulled into distractions, and your focus gets scattered across things that don't actually matter. So instead of living intentionally, you end up reacting. Reacting to messages, reacting to expectations, reacting to pressure. And slowly, you lose control of your own life. Chosen constraints reverse that. They put you back in control. They allow you to decide in advance what matters and eliminate everything else. For example, instead of constantly checking your phone, you create specific times for communication. Instead of deciding every day whether to exercise, you make it a non-negotiable. Instead of saying yes to every invitation, you filter based on alignment. These are not restrictions, they are filters. And filters are what create focus. Now let's go deeper. Your brain is designed to seek efficiency. When you reduce choices, your brain shifts from reactive mode to intentional mode. This allows you to enter what psychologists call a flow state, a state where you are fully immersed, focused, and productive. But flow requires one thing: clarity. And clarity is impossible when your attention is divided. So every unnecessary option you keep open is actually blocking your ability to focus deeply. This is why trying to keep all doors open is dangerous, because open doors create mental noise, and mental noise kills execution. The most effective people don't chase everything. They choose something, and then they commit fully. Now, let's talk about emotional impact. When you don't have boundaries, you constantly feel pulled in different directions. You say yes when you want to say no. You overextend yourself, and then you feel drained, resentful, and overwhelmed. But when you have constraints, something powerful happens. You stop negotiating with guilt. You stop explaining yourself unnecessarily. You stop feeling obligated to meet every expectation because you already know your limits. And when you know your limits, you protect your energy. This creates emotional stability because your life is no longer controlled by external pressure. It's guided by internal clarity. And that is real freedom. Not the freedom to do everything, but the freedom to focus on what actually matters. Now here's the practical shift. You don't need to change everything overnight. You start by identifying your highest value areas, the 20% of your actions that produce 80% of your results, and then you build constraints around those. For example, if your health matters, you set fixed routines for movement and nutrition. If your focus matters, you limit distractions and define work blocks. If your peace matters, you reduce unnecessary social obligations. Each constraint you create is not taking something away from you. It's giving something back. Time, energy, clarity. And the more you practice this, the easier it becomes. At first, it will feel uncomfortable because your brain is used to constant stimulation, used to options, used to flexibility. But over time, you will begin to feel something different. Calm. Because your life becomes predictable in the areas that matter, and that predictability reduces stress. It allows your nervous system to relax, it allows your mind to focus, and it allows you to actually enjoy your life instead of constantly managing it. Now let's bring this into a simple activation. Ask yourself, where am I overwhelmed by too many choices? Where am I saying yes when I should be saying no? Where is my energy being drained unnecessarily? And then choose one area, just one, and create a constraint. Make a decision in advance, remove the option, and commit to it. You don't need perfect discipline, you need clear decisions. Because once a decision is made, discipline becomes easier, and over time, those decisions shape your life. So understand this clearly. You don't need more freedom. You need better structure, because structure is what allows freedom to exist. Without it, you're just reacting, but with it, you are creating. And that is the shift, from scattered to focused, from overwhelmed to intentional, from reactive to in control. And once you experience that shift, you won't want to go back, because you will realize something powerful. Freedom was never about having more. It was about needing less. If this shifted how you think, type "I choose clarity" in the comments. And if you're ready to take control of your mind, your energy, and your life, stay connected, because this is Mind Care is Self-Care. And here, we don't just talk about change, we build it.